The next teaching skill that we'll cover is asking good questions. So I have a question for you. Why are questions important when you are teaching? The answer to that is that questions require action on the part of the learner. So even if only one person in your class answers that question verbally, everyone's going to answer it mentally, and everyone will be able to do the thinking that's involved with the question. Good questions aren't something that just come out of thin air, and that is actually something that you will need to plan and prepare for. So creating questions is part of what you'll do during your hour of lesson prep, and in the next videos we will go over the different types of questions that you can prepare for. A bad question is one that is too simple or too complex, and you will ask bad questions. That's just part of learning how to teach. If you ask a question and no one has an answer, that is a sign that you either asked a bad question or that you need to go back and reteach a concept because people didn't quite understand it. Planning out your questions in your lesson plan will take place during your hour of lesson prep. Most trainers like to designate in their lesson plan where the questions are. So for example, this trainer has just highlighted them in gray, and this just helps them to quickly visually scan as they're teaching to see where the questions are. And whenever they get to this section, they'll know exactly when they need to ask the question. As you're writing out your questions, you'll want to directly apply them and connect them to your learning objectives. So you'll have your learning objectives up at the top, and as you write your questions, try to see if those questions will assess what you want them to be learning. The reason why questions are great for this is because, as we've discussed before, questions allow for direct learning as the students have to do the thinking and then the answering themselves. And this helps you to know that your learning objectives are being met. So if the students answer the question, then you will know that they learned the topic or the tool or the skill that you wanted them to learn. As you are planning out your questions, if you want to get ideas, once again, you can go ahead and check on Trello and just search for whatever class you are teaching and look through some questions that other trainers have taught in that class before. We'll be going over the specific types of questions and exactly how those look in the next videos. Just a tip, as you're planning out your lesson, you'll want to make sure that you put checking questions strategically throughout your lesson plan about at the end of every section or at the end of every activity. And this can be as simple as just asking your students if they have any questions, or asking them to give you a yes or a thumbs up if they're done with the activity. And this just helps you to know that your students are with you and that everyone is learning at the same time. You'll want to make sure that you take the time to really think about and craft out your questions, especially your thinking and your demo questions, which we'll go over in the next videos. And you'll just want to try to figure out which questions will best engage your students. So once again, you can look on Trello for these ideas. You can also pick up ideas from your fellow trainers as they are teaching and see which kinds of questions get the students really engaged, and then use similar questions in whichever class you are teaching.